well. The camp itself is from July 21st to 25th. It's 5 days. It's open to grades 4 through 10. And it's from 8 to 3. We provide lunch. Every member or every player that comes in gets a basketball, a jersey to wear, and a t-shirt. The way Granada Hills Neighborhood Council is represented, we do on the balls, on the shirts, we do the Granada Hills Charter Council, Granada Hills Neighborhood Council South emblem and logo actually appears on the t-shirts. There's an emblem on the ball. There's an emblem on the jersey as well. So that's how we kind of, I guess, advertise it or put it on there. So I'm going to read a little thing here. Sorry I didn't have the PowerPoint set up with a little miscommunication. So our camp provides children with the core values of strong moral individuals by teaching them about ethics, honesty, caring, respect, and responsibility. We help the campers develop social skills. The camp teaches children to communicate, work together as part of a team, and to be leaders. Main goal of the camp is to make sure the children have the time of their lives and for them to, stay busy during the summertime. So that's a quick little summary. I know what the proposal itself is going to go. And by the way, I love your agenda. I don't know why some people had something to say about this. Is incredible. All the interrogative pronouns that I've taught 15 years in El Unified as a 6th grade teacher, the who, what, where, when, whys, and hows, they're all here. So I commend you on that. But it says that Darren's going to have this go to the Education Committee for more information as well, and I could come to that committee meeting. But I do want to be able to answer any questions if you have any. Yes.
I had a question for you 3 years ago, so I'm going to ask it again.
Oh, sure.
How do you take your applications? Is it first come, first served? Or is it for children that are already exclusively playing basketball?
Excellent question.
You had stated 3 years ago that it would be open to, I think you were going to put out applications, but I don't think it went that way, so.
Well, it actually did, and what it is, it's not one of these elite camps you see, sometimes like an NBA player or whatever. This is open to everyone, all skill levels. We just look grade 4 to 10, age appropriate, so we can split them up into their groups. Once they're there, yeah, we. Am I over time?
No, not at you, but the point is, you're chair of the Education Committee. He's going to have to explain this to you in committee. And if that's the case, you will come back to us and he'll be able to say this to us again later. So why are we going through all of this right now?
Well, I only have one question.
Yeah, but he's going to come to you and you can answer this question in committee.
Okay.
Any other questions? How many people would be at the camp?
So what we do is, my gosh, last year was our highest number. We probably had about 85 kids last year.
Eric, you have your turn. All right?
But this is an educational.
You have your turn. Let's listen to them.
Sort of answer your question, we had about 85 kids.
Go to camp?
We had 85 last year.
Thank you.
We're very fortunate here. We have both gyms open, the big gym and the small gym. So, and what's good about it, in addition, we give them all the equipment, the ball and thing. We buy them lunch.
Hey guys, let's keep the crosstalk down. I understand it's getting late. I'll try to speed the meeting along, but right now let's keep the crosstalk down.
All right.
Okay, let me just make one general announcement for the rest of the meeting. Since we are running late on time, I'm going to rearrange a few things. I'm going to cut down on discussion and public comment. So please don't consider that being rude or cutting off or not hearing, but we're going to have to get a little more aggressive on that. Ernie, please, and just keep it quick.
Are there any paid staff for this basketball camp?
We have the volunteers, and there are some of the coaches that we have to pay as well. Yeah.
And they come out of LA Unified's budget?
They come out of partially, actually, it's our basketball budget for Granada Hills Charter High School. And it's good as well for all the players. They volunteer time as well, and we have coaches that volunteer. Thank you.
We won't be the only supporters of this program. There's going to be local businesses funding this program also on this event.
And I'm actually going to Englander's office and asking for support there. And we're getting some media, newspaper.
Yeah, coming as well. I'm good friends with Jack Pollan. He does the sports writing for the Daily News, and Eric Sonheimer as well for the LA Times. So we're trying to get some media as well as far as, because like I said, usually there's elite camps where you have to pay like $500 to go to. Coach Brian shows up for an hour and then he leaves. We're actually coaching the kids here, and it's more to provide services.
Affordable for our kids in our neighborhood.
This is a neighborhood purpose grant, so.
If they feel that it'd be cheap.
It'll be next year.
Yeah.
Okay, so then your next step is to the education committee.
Sure,
So if,
sure.
anybody who has any detailed questions, I'd encourage you to go there. And,
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex.
Okay, we're only on officer reports. We've got a long way to go. There are a number of people here for some planning and land use items, so I'm going to move that with no objection. I'm going to move that up in the agenda so we can get them out unless you want to stay longer. One other thing I want to mention, and I'm going to do this for the rest of the agenda, these items have been heard in committee, so the detailed questions have been heard in committee. I would like to, if you want to have detailed discussion, please come to the committee. We'll try and get the questions out here, but again, I'm going to keep it short. So I'm going to item F, planning and land use. And as I mentioned earlier, we took items C through I off of the agenda. I just want to make sure there's no public comment on those items right now. Seems like a good opportunity to ask. And we'll start with A. And I'm going to make a quick report on this. The People Street Plaza proposal at Chatsworth and Zelza. We had a great meeting yesterday evening, and Linda Williamson, who's the proponent for the project, came. Jake Brunian, who's the owner of the property adjacent to that, and benefactor of the park, the Veterans Park there, came. We had a great discussion. Linda and Jake agreed on a lot of points, and they decided they were going to continue the discussion on not only the park in that area, but also Chatsworth Street and some other beautification ideas that they both have. So we, at the committee meeting, we postponed this and said whenever you all have some great new ideas to bring back, please come back to us. Linda did email me after the meeting and just thanked us for the meeting, and Jake, thank you for coming, and is looking forward to talking to you about it. So is there any comments on that item? Did I characterize it correctly? Jake, go ahead.
You correctly, everything is right, but the only thing, I've never been in the sub-council meeting, so I have to make myself clear that we had a lengthy discussion after the meeting with Linda. I cannot see anything that this is going to go forward, and it looks like we're all going to spend our time. If city wants to do it, they'll do it, but as a property owner and a business, it's going to be affected badly, and therefore we're against it. 3 buildings, right at the corner, it's going to get killed. With property prices or the value of the properties and business-wise and visibility-wise, and we're not talking about parking. I just want you worked there yesterday. I just want you to know that we're not talking about parking. Parking is not an issue. Since I have the adjourned shopping center next to it, and we use the both parking as the main issue for us. However, we don't want to be brought up as the bad guys. We're in the community, we're helping the community, we work with the community for the last 40 years, personally myself. As a matter of fact, I just received this from Granada Hills High School with your team. I'm in there I clean the Granada Hills uniform vans for almost free of charge. We were all involved into this community. So, when I received this, I was very happy that kids came to me, they said, because of you, we have this. Therefore, I'm strongly opposing this, closing that street, the little thing, and thinking that's gonna be a park, because it's not gonna be safe to the public. I don't want anybody hanging around that Memorial Park, because at night, it'll be graffiti problem, it'll be any kind of problem, drinking problems, you cannot even think of. I have nothing else to say. That's what I'm just came here to show appreciation of everybody, that whoever thinks that it's right, whoever thinks that it's public. We always concerned about that corner. We have other places to worry about it without hurting the businesses, without hurting the properties. We will find that. Why just on that corner? Because personally, I would have sponsored the Memorial Park, and because of the Memorial Park, I cleaned up the building across the street from the Memorial Park. So then I said, this is smack to me, on my face, and outcome, it'll be very bad for me. Very extreme bad. Financially, it's going to hurt me. So that's what I'm here for. I don't think I can attend any more meetings because my business is running, I'm still here. I run there, and yesterday I went there until 1 o'clock in the morning to finish up my work. So I'm a small businessman. Yes, I have a community partnership with the community, and I work with the community the last 40 years. Please think about it. We don't want to kick the businesses out of the street. We have to think about somewhere else that does not affect any businesses, anybody. And I'm very strong for the Memorial Park. That is a Memorial Park. I don't want anything happen to that Memorial Park. I put my soul in it. I put my money in it. I'm not a millionaire. Everybody thinks I'm a millionaire. My heart is a millionaire. And I'm always behind the community. So that's all I can say. If anyone wants to say something?
Well, I do want to add to what you said, because I didn't call out any specifics, but the discussions that Jake and Linda are having on the street as a whole, and in particular, something that I'm excited about is the possibility that this People Street program could be used as a source of funds at the Chatsworth White Oak improvement. I know Linda's going to reach out to the bid, although she can try and reach out to the bid. She's going to redouble the efforts to get a hold of them. Because that if downtown will come and spend the money to put in the grass and the walls and the seats and the whatever, the design's already there. And I had heard that the bid was seeking funding to get that project done, which is so important for the community. If we can get Mayor Garcetti to send us some of that downtown money to put those parklets together, that'll reduce the burden on the bid, and they can concentrate on the crosswalks and the other improvements in that area, and maybe make that a lot easier to happen than it is now. And that could potentially dovetail into projects to beautify Chatsworth as well. I mean, if the bid's got extra money, they can turn it back into Chatsworth Street. So I'm excited about the direction that's taking. And Jake, did I capture that correctly?
Yeah, because what I'm saying is, don't symbolize one building in there, a little building that what had done to the Granada Hills. It's a pride to Granada Hills. When you walk in that sign, when you see that sign, it says "Welcome to Granada Hills." Before, it was a shame to say "Welcome to Granada Hills." There was nothing else in that corner. Now we beautify that corner with our money and everything, and then now I still feel like, hey, that's enough. Thank you very much, but no, we'll take over. We'll mess you up and this and that. Oh, that doesn't work. And I get some kind of comments. It's going to hurt you in the future. I want to know how it's going to hurt you in the future, because I helped. I get some not compliments. I shouldn't say compliments, but some kind of comments that maybe you can win this case, but you're going to lose other things. That's a threat to me. I don't take that threat at all. That's what I came to state. I came to the United States of America. That's what I'm a first generation, I'm not even first generation. That bothered me more than anything else. Somebody writes a comment that tell us the businesses that we don't want to support. Because of that, they're not supporting, we're not gonna support them. That's a bad thing.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of rhetoric going on with this project, and it's unfortunate because everybody wants to help the community, and that was the purpose of the meeting, was to get you and Linda in direct contact, so everybody else that's out in the wings can stop generating buzz about it, and you two can work on projects that will work for the area.
She's like a great lady, so we have to discuss whatever. She has to understand that we cannot hurt the businesses. I understand she thinks she's not gonna hurt, but I'm a businessman for 40 years, in the same place, same form. So I know that the business can get hurt, how it can get hurt, but I addressed it yesterday. Visibility, not the parking comes to secondary, but visibility is very important. If you cut that visibility, you cannot rent that place to anybody else.
Sorry, thank you, Jake.
You got.
Okay, we're gonna have to keep this real short. Mike, go ahead.
Are the other business owners involved in these conversations with Plum or with Linda and Jake?
Actually, this was something that we covered at committee, so I don't want to delve into that aspect, so.
Okay.
I apologize, but I'm gonna, let's keep it to some. Yeah, and we have nothing to vote on. Bonnie?
I just want to let everyone know that the Granada Hills Improvement Association, which manages the business improvement money, which is funded by the taxpayers, which is the property owners all along Chatsworth Street, in the big shopping centers and everything, they voted against that little corridor in front of Menchie's being used for that purpose. There has been a lot of that. They've worked 15 years, basically methodically, to improve that street, to put in the medians, to put in that pergola, to join with the Rotary, to fix that corner, to go out there physically and mow the lawn before Jake bought that property and fixed it up, to fix this. And this has been done with engineers and architects and planning and pictures, and to have somebody come out there and haphazardly say, let's just do this, and ignore the wishes of the businesses that have been putting all their time, effort, money, and volunteerism into that is just not something that's gonna help the community. And I just, and then the threats to come out about, if you don't support it, we're going to.
That's wrong, but again, this is area that you covered during the committee, so I'm just making a report to the committee. Carl?
I did want to mention the Granada Hills Rotary Foundation also voted against it unanimously. And, the park, we all know, is wonderful. Thanks to the neighborhood council for the money that you've helped us, it wouldn't be what it is. Jake has probably put in 35,000 to 40,000 into that park. The thing that I look at too is the future. If it went through, what's gonna happen 3-5 years from now? Who's gonna keep it up? Who's gonna pay the liability insurance? Who's gonna keep it going? Because maybe the city's doing this to get this thing started, but who's gonna know that it's gonna be there next year and the year after?
Yeah, well, and this project now at this point is in the control of Jake and Linda, the discussions they have. So Jake's expressed his opinion on it as the property owner there. He has a
Big stake.
Well, not only a big stake, but it's required that he give his approval. So for that reason, we don't need to go on discussing it here.
Well, I want to say one last thing that I said last night. We don't have a dog in this fight. We cannot put up any money whatsoever. The guy said he came up with this idea, and he said he wasn't going to put any money into this. So I don't even know why we're even talking about this. It's every idea that comes along isn't necessarily a good idea. It sounded good and everything else, but if you don't have the people, especially the business owners, along with this, and for us as a neighborhood council to come and vote on something in which we cannot fund one nickel to, why are we talking about it? As far as I'm concerned, this issue is dead.
We're talking about this primarily because they're looking for our input as to whether we favor it or not. And that's what it's all about. You might not think there's anything there, but there's certainly some people here who do.
Okay, well, put your money up there then.
We had two.
Nobody else wants to put
Okay,
money
guys,
up.
The money is not the issue.
Money is the issue.
Hold on. This was voted for continuance in committee. Any further discussion on this will happen at the Planning and Land Use Committee when the item comes back. The item's closed. I'm sorry, Ernie, we can't. All right, and thank you, Jake, for coming out. Thank you. Can't talk about it. Our next item, much more happy item, we're gonna talk about cell towers. Wally, thank you very much for hanging out. I know this has been long and I appreciate your patience. This project is a proposed cell tower 10341 North Woodley. This is a church property on Woodley, just north of Devonshire. At our planning and land use meeting, we did have a representative from the church where the cell tower is going in. We had a good discussion on this. Is Maria here? I think Maria left. One thing I want to note is that Maria had a particular concern because we did not have any, we hadn't heard anything from residents in the area. Jim, I know you were working on outreach.
Yeah, when you do outreach to me, you can't just say, Jim, do this. We have to have information first. We need to know where the HOA is. We have to have the contacts, and we have to have time on it. You guys have no information on any of that.
Well, Jim, at the last meeting, you said you've been in contact, you checked out the apartments there, and there was some rule about distributing flyers and that you were going
On almost all HOAs.
Okay.
On almost all, so you can't go, especially HOAs, you can't go one by one. So you have to mail them, which means we need a mailing budget to do it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, especially HOAs, anything that, condo communities, apartments, there's no way we can get to. If it's regular residential, we can just leave something at the door and that's it.
Okay. All right, just wanted to clarify that.
So there hasn't been any specific outreach.
Okay. I apologize, and I thought that you guys were conducting that, so, but in any case, let me turn it over to Wally who can explain the project.
Good evening, thank you very much for having me this evening. My name is Wally Jarecki. I work for Synergy Development Services to represent the applicant.